What's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building, and y'all, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. The reunion part 3. Man, interesting. Very, very interesting. So we're gonna discuss that. We got a little bit of tea from the Reality Rundown live show. So as you guys know, I'm traveling, but I did send my creative partner, Shay, in my place. And so she was able to get a couple of questions asked of our girl, Miss Ashley Darby. So give me 1 second, y'all. I'm about to hit play on that. Hopefully y'all can hear it. Stand by.
Hey,
hold on.
Here on behalf of DJRichieSkye. So, DJRichieSkye want to know, do you think the girls are too sensitive? And how do you think next season will shift your behavior?
Well, if anyone's an expert on the girls, it is RichieSkye, okay? That's all the tea. He knows the ins, the outs, the all abouts. But yes, I do think that some of the girls are a little sensitive. Maybe it's some growing pains that they have had coming into the group. But it's always interesting to see how they do their second and third seasons, you know? Like, it's a sink or swim game. So we'll see how some of them do.
Listen, how do you feel about Jazzy not returning? And do you want Angel to come back?
Who said anything about Jazzy not returning? I've never heard that. That's never been on my radar. I hope that's not true. If y'all heard that. And what was the other one?
Angel.
Oh, what about her?
Do you want her to come back?
Honestly, I don't want to tiptoe around anybody, and I don't want to have to handle someone with kid gloves. So if Angel keeps on correct and be present and accounted for, great, would love to have her. But otherwise, she may need to just sit.
Do you think you're going to have some new additions if some of the girls don't come back?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many unknowns, right? Like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. We're definitely in this very transitionary who's who, what is what, period. And it's kind of exciting, I must say.
All right, well, congratulations on your children's book. We are so happy.
Thank you for riding with us for 10 years.
Period.
All right, so a lot of you guys were commenting about how bright Ashley looks. That is the lighting at the event. I'm sure they had the spotlight on her because she was on the red carpet. Shout out to my girl Shay for conducting interviews and asking questions. Apparently NECA was also there as well. And I'm gonna give you guys one more bit of tea from the reunion. Shout out to Wellington on air. And again, Reality Rundown for putting on an amazing event. I am just super sad I couldn't be there in person, but I'm so glad we have representation there. This is a question that came up about I did not ask Monique who was on the phone when she presented that because I have not had a chance to talk to her because I have had an extremely busy week. But this question was asked and Ashley did reveal it. So let's get into it.
She has a daughter and 2 sons. Right. Someone had heard their father speaking to someone and asked, "Who is Stacy?" Mind you, they have no idea what the show is going on. Right. They don't have any idea of all of that, but somehow they had heard this name and asked Monique about it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of legality right now with what Monique is going through, so she couldn't share it, which really sucks. But when we all heard it, when I tell you jaws were on the floor, baby, jaws were on the floor. Okay.
My jaw was on the floor.
Right.
For the castmates, I called the fans of the Reality Rundown the castmates because they're included in the reality show of it all. Yeah. So the castmates, for all of you that do not know, when the housewives have little kids and they may not be together with the husband, if the 2 parents don't sign for these kids to be filmed, they can't film, which is why it becomes such a big deal and why Monique brought that up because one of her children.
Shout out to the Reality Rundown again, the castmates in the building. So that is who was speaking on the phone, why they could not share it as well. A lot of people thought that maybe she was on the phone with Cookie. I highly doubt that would have been the case. I never suspected it was Cookie because they've also said Cookie's name and they did not bleep Cookie's name out. So with that being said, do I believe that Stacy's name was brought up by one of the kids? I absolutely 100% believe it. I absolutely believe it. I totally believe it. Now, do we love Stacy? Absolutely, we love Stacy. Stacy's fun and effervescent. Might Stacy have mentioned this behind the scenes? Perhaps. I mean, I don't know what her motive would be, but what I do know is that it really... Monique and Cookie are not going to be on the phone. Period. That's just what it is. The question is not necessarily, in my opinion, about the story itself. I think the question is really about Stacy and can the ladies trust her? That's really what this is about. This is about Stacy and can the ladies trust her in her ever-changing narratives. If you love Stacy, I think it's great. I love Stacy. I want to taste some of her her potato salad, because she don't put no onions and she don't put no green peppers in her potato salad, I don't think. So there we have it. Beyond that, I really don't think that there is much else to talk about. We'll see whether or not this is even a factor next season. I kind of want to move on to Jazelle. The fact that she essentially stated that they didn't even give her a package, that's a reunion first. Let me just say that. It's a first that someone is actually, number one, calling it out in real time. I don't know that I would have said anything, but I guess it makes sense that she did, because it's like, I'm an OG, y'all got me sitting second chair, and I didn't even get a package. I will tell you what's going on. Here, you know what? I don't think Jazelle is going anywhere, but I think what it does say is nobody thought, like, it would have been one thing if she had told us later that her package got edited out. You know, because we only got 42 minutes technically. An episode of TV is typically 42 minutes for an hour-long show, because you got to factor in commercials. So in 3 episodes, we have 9 women to deal with. I would have been, she could have been on her Reasonably Shady podcast and been like, yeah, they just didn't get to my package. But if she had said that, somebody else could have been like, well, she lying. So she ain't really had nothing else to do. There was no way around it. Somebody said, what would the package have been? I don't know. Because in terms of her personal story, the only things we really knew about were her and her father and the will. I think that they could have focused a bit more on that if they really wanted to, but she had already spoken about that when it was Tia's package. So maybe the producers were like, well, she already touched on her story a little bit, so we don't really need to add that in there. I guess it's just the fact that they didn't even end the day. Throughout the day, not one producer, not Andy, nobody said, well, where is Jazelle's package? Nobody said that. Nobody said, you know what? We forgot to do Jazelle. Oh God, I don't even know what to say about it because again, it is highly unlikely that they would ever film this show without her. I just don't see it. But the fact that you don't even give one of your OGs a package, maybe they felt like she didn't need a package. It just, you're right, Lexi. It was not a good look. It was kind of like, how y'all forget about her? Even, oh, listen, to be honest with you, by the time the show was over, I had forgot, okay? But we had been going for 3 weeks. I can't remember if she had a package or not, to be honest with you, because we started this whole thing 3 weeks ago. So Marietta Sanders asked, what is a package? Package is basically the moment where you sit down at the reunion and Andy asks you, or Andy plays the highlight reel of the clips from the season that are specifically either focused on you or the drama that you have been in. And you know what's funny? I mean, she had drama with Angel. She went toe to toe with Angel. She tried to take over the trip because it was going downhill. She did have this stuff with her dad and her will. So they could have, if they wanted to. But the crazy thing is she's basically saying, y'all didn't give me a package, so I'm gonna tell y'all what I did this season. I said, you know what? I feel like it's probably more embarrassing than anything else, you know? With that being said, we can move on. I just didn't want to forget that. Like production did. Somebody said, a housewife without a package. How dreadful. I'm sorry, Jazelle. Listen, my bad, babe. My bad, babe. Okay, so oh, a couple of people didn't know what a package was, so I'm glad we got to explain that. All right, so let's talk about, we covered Monique, Ashley, Stacey. A good majority of this episode was focused on Wendy and Karen. You know, Karen came out and Andy addressed the elephant in the room. Girl, you did not want to acknowledge your alcoholism, alleged alcohol. I don't know what we are calling it, okay? Karen is not trying to say she was an alcoholic. That's what it boils down to. That's where it starts and it stops. Karen does not want to say she was an alcoholic. I told y'all that. I did. I told y'all. I said that woman, she's not going to want to say she's an alcoholic. Now, I can't say that anybody would want to say they're an alcoholic because it is a label that you are choosing to wear. But with the way that you are basically acknowledging that, oh, what Ashley said was true, I was down to the legal seafood, drinking and guzzling on a daily basis or whatever, the weekly basis or whatever it was, then, what else are we? Here's where it starts and stops. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm this type of person. I'm this type of friend. Let's see who I see. Round Tables LLC. Let's just use you as an example. Round Tables, if you tell me you want to be referred to as Round Tables when I talk to you, even though that might be your business name, if you tell me you only gonna go by Round Tables LLC and that's how you prefer to be called, friend, I'm gonna call you Round Tables LLC every time I see you. Actually, your name in my phone is gonna be changed to Round Tables LLC. So I'm the type of person, I'm gonna be like, If you like it, I love it. However, it's going to leave a lot of people questioning whether or not you are really, truly about the recovery, if that makes any sense. Because Karen has said she will be in lifelong recovery, I feel like she's basically saying, well, that is me admitting to everything. I'm just not gonna lump it under this area of alcohol. But I mean, the people at Legal Seafood, I don't know. And y'all know I am pro Karen. I'm pro Karen, okay? I'm pro Karen. I like Karen. I've always liked Karen. I enjoy it. She's fun. She to me is fun to watch. But you can't deny, like, the average person is gonna watch those clips and think, girl, you what? Do I think that Karen is on the road to the full accountability? I do. I think she's on the road, but I think that there's probably still more work to do, and that's a linear thing. It will happen over time. So, LaShawn, yes, I do, because I am her friend. That is why I believe it. That's what I'll give you. That is all. That is what, because I know her. That is why I believe that's who that was on the phone. Again, I didn't ask, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. To be quite frank with you, outside of our videos that I do here, I don't really. And when I'm watching a show, I'm not really thinking about the show. I'm invested enough to talk with you guys about it. I am not invested enough to be thinking about it while I'm laying around at the pool. I'm not. I'm just, that's just that. So again, that's why I'm also so able to say, if Karen doesn't want to be called out, if Roundtable wants to be called Roundtable LLC, that's what I'm gonna call Roundtable, because I need mental shortcuts in my life, and I just don't have time to be parsing out what you do and what you don't want to be called. Girl, listen, all I know is you said that you agreed that you were getting toasty at the Legal Seafood, like the person that Ashley said. Okay, fine, you were, but if you're saying that you're not an alcoholic, okay, you wear whatever label you want to wear, but I'm gonna tell you what it looks like. But you wear whatever label you want to wear, because you're the only person that can live your life. That's that. And that level of acceptance is on Karen. It's not on me. Okay. Wendy. Karen and Wendy, the initial interaction was I understand why Stacey said it was brutal. I actually believe that they cut out some of what Karen said, because there was a scene that I felt like not a scene, but I felt like they cut out something that Karen said about her weaponizing her achievements. And this was in one of the promos that they did for the reunion. And I did not see that happen in last night's episode, unless I blinked and I missed it, but I watched the whole thing. But I'm not perfect, so I could have missed it. Now, Karen, Karen gave us Grand Dame energy last night. But Karen also, which is very interesting, and I think a lot of other housewives could pick up on this lesson. Karen is able to balance some levels of humility along with some levels of grand dameness, along with I'm gonna go for the jugular, but I'm also gonna pull back when I know that I need to and be supportive when I need to, even if it feels like a slap in the face. But that is what wisdom looks like, and why some of the other new housewives have a hard time mastering housewives. Karen has wisdom along with age and maturity, as well as experience in this space. So, Jay Lachelle, I know it. I feel like me and you might be in the minority of feeling like this. I don't necessarily feel like she weaponizes her achievements, because I don't feel in any way, I would not feel in any way, shape or form threatened by the fact that she has 4 degrees. Girl, I don't care if you say that you got 4 degrees. I got degrees. I mean, like, and what? We on the same platform together. It doesn't bother me in that way. I don't receive Wendy saying those things in the way that I feel like some of the other women may. So to me, yeah, she might be talking about it a lot, but I don't really, it don't really make me know never mind, because to be honest with you, you got 4 degrees. And for me, I feel like, I mean, unless you really only need 1 or 2, I mean, 2, maybe 2 at the most. So the fact that you got 4 degrees, for some people, I'll be looking at it, you got 4 degrees, then you might have wasted 2 of those years getting those degrees actually to do whatever it is that you want to do. So I don't know if you're ahead of me because you have 2 more, or if you just utilize more of your time and financial resources to get certain things just because they are degrees, unless maybe you just changed your mind a couple of times and you just decided to get degree after degree after degree. At the end of the day, it don't bother me. My degrees were intentional. So I got them and I'm done. And I'm very happy with that. 4 degrees, you're right, Tatiana, is more debt. So have fun. Be blessed with those. You know, that's how I look at it, right? And that's why I never felt like, I don't know what y'all think she's weaponizing, because I look at this in a completely different way. I could learn more in a 1-hour session. I've learned more in this weekend being at this conference than I have, I think, in 4 years with one of my degrees. Catch that. Bling, bling, bling. Okay. So that's why I don't look at it, because I feel like if she wants to be proud of that, that's great. I mean, it's great for her, but does it diminish anything for me? Absolutely not. Because I don't care. If I don't want that, then it doesn't mean anything to me. Does that make sense? Right, Gwendolyn, it's like a good for you moment. Well, that's great. Girl, good for you. Oh, yes, do that thing. Okay. But anyway, it is what it is, right? Put yourself in the right rooms and you don't have to pay all that money. But a lot of us learned that the hard way. There's nothing wrong with going and getting your education, by the way, because I've done it. You know, undergrad and grad school. Cool, got it, done it, paying for it still, okay? That's just how it works. Joy says, I think it's about her trying to rub that in people's faces, but it's only meaningful if you let it be meaningful to you. And it was never that meaningful to me, so I guess that's why I didn't see it that way. Yeah, it's like, okay, girl, sure, you got 4 degrees. Maybe that's her thing. I have no idea, but I don't know. Okay. I didn't really like Karen talking about Wendy's mom, you know, and how she loved how Wendy's mom told her to shut the F up. If I were Wendy, and I believe that Wendy, the effect that this has had on Wendy, I cannot say, but I felt like she had chosen to play this very, very cool and very, very chill, Because the moment Karen brought up my mother is the moment that I would have went off, okay? I would have went off because there is no way, shape, or form that anybody would reference anybody else's parents on this platform. Let me just say it like that. So you do not get to reference my mother, okay? You don't get to reference my mother for some stuff you don't have any idea about, okay? Now, do I think that Karen was wrong for referencing the situation where they were calling Wendy's mom a witch? No. If Wendy and Karen had stuck to the issue, the real issue is, Karen, did you talk about Wendy to Stacey? We can't get to that because what Karen did, in my opinion, is she pulled a reverse, a Uno reverse. Well, no, let's really talk about the betrayal that happened. You betrayed me. Well, girl, how did I betray you? Were you talking about me or not? If I was Wendy, I would not have let my foot up off of her neck. I would not have, because at the end of the day, that is the core issue. Are we going to resolve that? Can you say yes or no, you said that or not? Period. If you cannot answer that direct question, I have no other alternative but to think that you did say something. And for that, that's where we are. That is why we're here. There is no other reason why we're here. So anything else that you want to talk about is absolutely ridiculous until you answer this one question. Is that a yes or is that a no? If you can't answer that right now and say yes or no, then I know my answer. Period. Wendy, that's all you had to say. For real. Like, I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not going to let you use my mother as a tool for which to shade me in this moment when actually you are the real issue that I have. And unless you're willing to admit that, then you can keep that along with whatever you choose to be called. Okay? That's what I feel like. And here's the thing. If Karen's answer was no, I didn't talk about you, Stacey is lying, one could believe that. One could believe that because Karen looked right dead at Stacey and said, girl, I know you be lying. Now, we can start fresh if you stop lying. But I'm the only one that lives in Potomac right now, so I know you're lying. That's what she should have said. And if I were Wendy, I would have said this, Stacey, and can you answer the question? Did she say that or not? Because Stacey's right there. Stacey's sitting beside Karen. So the only person, if Karen can't answer in a way that you feel confident with, Wendy, then you need to look at Stacey and ask her directly. And Stacey, you need to be bold enough to say, and Stacey did say it, yes, Karen, you said that to me. Period. That's the end of this story. We don't need to talk about nothing else. You don't need to say, you can do all of this, but you won't be talking about my mama. You won't be using my mama against me because you ain't got no argument in your defense. No, she did ask her about it. Fabs, go back to the season and go back to the scene. They showed Wendy saying, did you say this? Karen, at that time, did say no. Who are you going to believe? At that point in time, Wendy chose to believe Stacey. I see somebody talking about the Karen, the Stacey and Monique thing. I'm gonna let me just say this, and because I believe with certainty that I know this. Monique and Stacey are fine. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's why I'm not spending too much time on it, because I know they're fine. So, Lexi, yeah, Wendy did not have that type of energy. I believe she chose to play this in a different way. I think that probably worked to her favor because she was able to shift the energy of the group. When talking about herself, she did talk about the night of the burglary. I think that the thing that probably bothered me the most was Kay and Angel talking about Wendy. We think she knew. They both said this. Dr. Do It Yourself. Listen. That's all I know. Okay. I'm telling you what in my mind. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. Wendy talks about the burglary, and I'm glad she did, but I understood why Karen told her, girl, you talking too much. I got it. But I think, again, what made me annoyed was Kay and Angel talking about, well, Wendy knew she had these issues going on, and that's why she was using me as a red herring. Girl, Angel, did you see, you had a thing about Wendy for the entire first half of the season. You did. And I think that regardless of whether or not Angel thinks that Wendy did it or not, that is her right to have that opinion. But to try to make it seem like Wendy was using you as a red herring to deflect from what she knew was coming down the pipeline, it's like, girl, get out of here. Get out of here. Okay? What do I think? Okay. And Wendy detailed, and she didn't even go back to karate chop them like she could have. She basically described what happened with the burglary, how Cameron thought that the dog had made the mess in the room. The police come. The same police came back when they both were arrested. Wendy wanted to know if the kids were okay. The cop tells them, no, y'all didn't commit no burglary. It won't nobody to catch. It was y'all. Okay, there's that. So it debunks what Kay and Angel are trying to package for Wendy. And I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. Why would Wendy come on the show and her package is all about her money, all about the Benjamins? Yes, y'all. It's raining money on us. You know, we're in the money. We're building this. We've got to do this. I'm paying for this. I'm paying for that. Does that sound like somebody who thinks that they are under some type of surveillance? Does that sound, because we were watching every episode like, y'all still gonna talk about this? We still gonna see this? So it makes no sense for Angel and Kay and ironically, they both have that same opinion. Now I'm like, y'all don't want people to think that y'all are of one mind. So y'all might want to do some things a little differently next season so that we don't think that. Because right now we think that Kay has chin-checked Angel into submission because we were told that you were chin-checked. And we continue to see you be chin-checked. So I think that's what it is. And y'all know I've always stated I'm not the person that throws Angel away. I'm not gonna throw the baby away with the bathwater with Angel and Kay. But I just think that if they want to make a bit of a difference next season, then they've got to also be able to have separate ideas, entities, thoughts, feelings, and be able to disagree. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not friends. It just means that you guys are two individuals. Lexi Lean says, no attorney wants you to discuss anything related to the case. This is bigger than the Real Housewives of Potomac. It is. And I think that was underscored throughout that whole sit down when it came to Wendy and her detailing how she feels. I don't see anything. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an attorney except for my law and order SVU university degree, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with talking about how you feel as a result or how you felt. But Wendy was answering question after question. We don't have 6, 7 identities. We were just basically using aliases for deliveries, which I can understand that. I can get that. I don't have a problem with that. It makes sense, you know, because you have random people delivering things to your house. If they know that you're on TV, that does probably increase the likelihood that you could be robbed. So I don't mind. I don't think I see anything wrong with that. Now 67 credit cards, debit cards. Oh my God. That gives me a headache just thinking about it. But anyway, somebody said I feel threatened by Kay. Overall, though, I did like the ending of this episode. I felt like the ending of this episode felt very meaningful to me. I love seeing Wendy peel some layers back and really, I think for a lot of you, not for me, showed up with a lot more humility than you're probably used to seeing from her. She was very contrite. I felt like there was just an here I am type of situation for her. And I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed seeing the other ladies sort of rally around her, even Karen and even Kay at the end sort of coming around and saying, maybe I need to put myself in another person's shoes. Ashley saying, maybe I need to be more sisterly. You know, we heard about who was there for Wendy and reaching out for her. And I really enjoyed that moment. And it really did remind me, I've been with this show for 10 years, recapping this show since I started at AfterBuzz TV in 2016, I think, recapping the show. I think I did the first season. I can't remember. It's been so long. And I just felt like this was like the perfect ending for 10 years. And I have no idea whether or not I will continue to recap the show, or I don't know. I've been kind of in my spirit trying to think about whether or not this is the space for me in general. I love what I do. I love talking to y'all. But as I watched the ending of it, I couldn't help but think to myself like that. I don't know, man. Like, I have some different things that I'm kind of interested in doing now. Y'all know I love traveling. Y'all know I love, coaching and working with y'all one-on-one. And I'm just kind of thinking that it might be time for me to focus more on doing those types of things. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have some decisions that I have to make. But it felt like, to me, the perfect ending for quite a few things. So we'll see. We'll see how things pan out over the next couple of weeks as I travel through Vietnam and try to figure out what's next for me as well. So anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, and I will keep you up to date with what is going on. I'm going to be doing a mini live coaching event tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll put the link in the description as soon as I get off this. If you want to join in, I'll be trying to I want to help like about 10 people get started on YouTube, making content. And I want to work with y'all like individually to get you started with a plan so that you guys can, because at the end of the day, what I realized is the world is crazy, okay? The world is crazy. And people need income and they need resources and they need help. Okay? So I need to figure out a way to help people get started on this journey and get started fast. So if that's you, if you want to get started, you want to get started fast, if you want to do something like this, let me help you. Let me help you. I know what I'm doing. I know how to generate income doing this. And for people who are ready to finally make a move, I'm going to put that in the description of this video right now. So give me about 5 minutes, check into that, and let's go. But with that being said, I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next video.